Welcome back to Gamescape 3D. This month we have a very innovative product that we are excited to share with you. We have developed Underdark stalactites, bridge connected, freestanding, fully dimensional. Right now I have these guys up on donut stands, but there's several ways you can display them to make them work for your gaming table. So let's get to it and tear these apart. I'm also going to go over the donut stands a little bit in case you've never seen this product before. And all right, let's dig in. All right, here we are with stalagmite number one. We have three different stalagmite styles. This stalagmite has two road entrances on it. There's an optional base with just one road option on it. We have that one down on the floor right now. We can show you that in a bit. The upper skirt here is just to sort of create the illusion of being in a cave. You can see it's circular, so you can spin that around on top. They are not all circular, but this one is, so you're able to move that top in any direction you want to create variation on your table. Without this skirt, these things end up kind of just looking like weird toilet bowls up on your table. It's hard to understand what they are, I think, without that skirt. Now the skirts are busted into four parts, okay? And they're put together with open locks, okay? Now, listen carefully to this part. I've developed a unique open lock for this. They're not standard open locks. They're a little narrower and a little less beefy in the middle part here where the T is, okay? So if you use your standard open lock clips, they are not gonna fit. These are especially loose, and the reason they're loose is because there's multiple orientations on how these lay down, which create different tensions on how much space is in the open lock. And then we also have situations, particularly on the bridge, where we have open locks being inserted on the y-axis, but then simultaneously on the z-axis, which makes it a little more complex to get that together without having it blow into a million pieces and shoot all over your room when you're trying to get them together. Okay, so as far as the open locks go, especially on these skirts, think of them as more of a guide that's sort of holding things together. You definitely want to glue these things together if you're going to be using these parts a lot. Okay, so the skirt, all right? As we move up this thing, we have three stories. This is our first story right here. The top two stories are all going to be cut, so you have that easy viewing access into each room, okay? So that's your top layer on stalagmite one. And then here's our second layer on that. We got stairs going all the way up. For the most part, they'll be functional. If you have really large stands or a large figure, they might not quite insert in there. I did squeeze them in as tightly as I could while still leaving some functionality so they wouldn't be taking up the whole space. And again, this one is cut in half. This brings us down to our bottom layer. These bottom layers are also open lock together, okay? This way we can provide you some variations. And we need this thing to be solid for stacking on and for locking into our bridge, okay? Let's see if I'll pull this apart real quick. So here's the open lock mechanism on this one. I got three open locks going up into the base here. Okay, you can see on the bridge, we also have three open locks. We got two vertical, one going horizontal, okay? You're also gonna see a hole right in there that's booled out, okay? These bridges, here's a bridge. These are two bridge parts fused together. I'm gonna go over this right now. These top pavers are just laying down in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove those. Okay, then this reveals our core structure. You can see these things right here I use to fuse the bridge together. This helps hold the two parts together, but it also helps keep the bridge straight. As any of you know, have used open locks before, if you start snapping together a lot of horizontal pieces, all of a sudden they start bowing. So that's why That's why I have this structure in there like this. Now, these end beams have a snub nose on the one side. So your narrow side goes toward the center of the bridge. And then that snub nose right there, all right? I only have one open lock in there right now. Just pretend there's three. Anyways, that's going to go directly into that hole right there and slide in. And then you'll press those open locks together, and that'll give you your joining of the two parts, okay? It's pretty solid, all right? If you use these a lot, you might want to thicken up those open locks a little bit on your build plate. I don't know what's going to happen with a lot of wear on that. Also, you have your insert door. This time I just designed one door, so it's the same door all the way around. I know I've gotten kind of annoying with having doors with infinitesimal differences all over the place, but this release just has the one. Okay, moving along. Let's go ahead and tear this bridge down the rest of the way so you can see how it goes. So we got these snub noses on either side. Either one of those will go into the stalactite. Basically, you need 3 stalactites going off at some kind of angle to get these things to reliably stand on the tabletop. With the donut stands, you have a little bit more flexibility. Generally speaking, I can't advise going past more than 3 sections on this because it's likely to just get too wavy and wobbly to be useful. Anyways, let's pop this in half so we can get to the meat here. Okay, so that's our joiner piece there. You can see a bunch of open locks going up on the Z axis, clipping these two guys together. Then we can just pull them apart. You just have your standard open lock right there, just like you do on the ends. Okay, and then this brings us to our single bridge section. And this is split in half so that you can print these things out easily, okay? And this is an example, another example right here of why I decide to go with a thinner clip, because obviously if this is your face down side, these open lock clips are going to be extra tight from any extra squeeze you have between your extruder nozzle and the bed, okay? And that's kind of the full logic on the whole thing. At this point, you can just kind of go for it. I'm going to go over the donut stands real quick, and then if you want to hang out, I'll go ahead and go over the other stalactites as well and give you a little bit of an overview. So these donut stands, they come in all kinds of heights. They come with some variation on the bases. These bases that I got with mine were a little over 5 inches. I saw ones that were closer to 4. I also saw some round ones. Very cheap. I got like 8 of these for 15 bucks. You could get half that number for around 9 or 10. You know, compared to the price of a 1/4 inch 2x4 sheet of plexi, which might be $80 or $90, this is really a great deal. The poles you get here are solid plexi. They're not hollow plexi. You got a screw that goes in one side. Okay. And then these are just covered with plastic, protective plastic that you can rip off of both sides. The screw goes in this pre-drilled hole, and then, you know, it goes in there. And then from there, I've gone ahead and booled a fairly wide hole, so you should have some variability. I think I went with 13 millimeters on the size of my hole, and most of these are like 10 millimeters across or somewhere in that neighborhood. Anyways, that just inserts right into that hole there. Let's see if I did try to tuck the hole into a place that wasn't going to be obvious or detrimental to the visual quality of the stalactite. Anyways, that goes in there and then it stands up. Voila. All right. All right, so before I tear these other ones down, the first thing I'll do is break here, and I'll go ahead and set them up so you can see them standing on the table without the donut stands underneath them, okay? All right, let's take a brief pause. All right, welcome back. We're coming back a little early. I was able to get these things to stand with just 2 of them. Both of these stalactites happen to have 2 legs on them, and due to the orientation of those legs, I was able to stand them up. Some of the stalactites only have 1 leg, so you're not necessarily going to get away with that without having 3 of them set up. So anyways, this is our largest stalactite over here. We'll go ahead and focus on this fellow a little bit. Okay, so here we got our skirt on top. I'm not going to go over that again. This one is not round, so it's kind of just going to have 1 orientation. If you use these as prisons, I kind of see these center ones where you have 3 roads coming off them as being sort of the guard towers, because that would be a point where prisoners might be shuffled between the different towers or shuffled out. Anyways, we have a very large top floor on here. Do a lot of stuff with that. We got some windows for archers on a couple of sides. That takes us down to our next floor. Okay, and split levels again, of course. And then we got our lower level with the 3 exit points. All right. Now you'll also have this stalagmite, or stalactite with a 2 road option instead of the 3. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move over to this other fella here. This is our smallest stalactite. This is the 3rd one. Again, we got our skirt there. Not round on the bottom, so 1 orientation. And then again, top level, split walls, 2nd level, split walls, and then our entryway there. This is a little bit narrower. So ideally this could be a resident, or you could just sort of have prisoners shoveled in there if you wanted, and they could sort of find their own way around in that tower and then be locked from the outside. Okay, so I think that's kind of it. It's been a pleasure to work this out. A little bit stressful, but we got all the way there. I think you're really going to enjoy seeing this set up on your table. Happy printing, and we'll see you next month. We'll be leaving the Underdark, and well, I'm not going to tell you yet. I'm going to let it be a surprise. I'll show you in the middle of the month what we got coming for you. So anyways, until next time.